Hello everybody, and just here and welcome back to Overlord Season 4, Episode 12. Not the finale yet, thankfully. Simply the penultimate episode. The finale will be Episode 13. Or so I heard. Which means that today we are probably going to see the battle for the capital, perhaps. That's the impression I'm getting. And in episode 13, we're gonna see the summary of the entire campaign, essentially the result of it, the dwarves moving into Nazarick, perhaps Blue Rose joining our guild, perhaps we're gonna see the capital being raised, or perhaps something else is going to happen entirely. We cannot be quite sure of what's gonna happen quite yet, because anything can happen, honestly. If my voice is a little weird, and if you're also wondering where have my uploads been for the past week, I've been sick. Thankfully, it's not the plague. I got myself tested, but something with my throat, with my nose, my ears are still feeling a little bit stuffed. My nose is still a little bit runny. My throat is still a little bit hoarse. But the show must go on. Content must be made because else YouTube itself will punish me for not uploading. And also, I've been looking forward to watching Overlord, and I can't wait another week or however long it will take me to get back to full strength. So I might be sounding a little weird. My voice might be a little weaker. I don't know. You guys will notice, or perhaps not. But yeah, in the previous episode, I talked about what's gonna happen in today's episode, most probably. But what about the previous episode? Well, in the previous episode, Ainz, or should I say Pandora's actor, and Albedo had a fight with the Gundam dude and the Tsa, the animated armor animated by the Dragon Lord, I think, or like a young Dragon Lord, or something around the Dragon Lord. I think it was Tsa's actual title. And turns out the Gundam dude is pretty freaking weak. The dragon isn't all that much stronger, at least not in the at least not the dragon's armor, because dragon itself might be decently strong. We don't know that yet. The dragons we've met so far, the ice dragons, were pretty weak, but I don't know if it's universal for all dragons in this world, or are ice dragons simply the weaker kind. Could be either. There is also the fact, of course, that Ainz is immune or very resistant to ice, as are all of the undead. So that could have played into that. We don't know how strong Tsa is exactly. What else of significance happened in the previous episode? I think it was mostly that we got a little bit more lore, a little bit more world building, so that was great. I always love it when we get world building in Overlord, in any series whatsoever, but in Overlord in particular, because world building and the lore of Overlord is incredibly cohesive and coherent. Right? There aren't sometimes a lore or world building or of a world of a series is created in a way where you have the feeling of there being like offshoots, right? We need runic magic to exist, so we make up some mythos around runic magic, and that's the offshoot of our world building. It's just a one-time deal. We need runes, so we're gonna create runes, and that's that. In case of Overlord, everything feels very much rounded out, right? Sure, there are runes, there is runic magic, but it connects to enchanting magic. It connects to the kingdom. It connects to It connects to the past relationships of humans and dwarves. It connects to the fall of the dwarven kingdom, right? Everything is connected. Everything creates a very nice, very round, very, very complete set of mythos of this world. Very realistic as well, because in real worlds, whenever something happens, it's never in isolation. There's always consequences, and there's always something that led up to it. And there's always unforeseen consequences, and there's always something that caused the whole butterfly effect. Overlord really does well showing us all that stuff. And yeah, I think that's it. That's all I wanted to say about the previous episode. Right, we also got the members of the Eight Fingers, the final member of the Eight Fingers, Crocodile. I think it's the final one. Might not be. I might be mistaken there. He was mm, placed at a brainwashing resort to fully join the forces of Nazarick. So that was a nice little detail that shows us why the Eight Fingers are so incredibly devoted to Ainz and to Nazarick. And also some of them, some of the people that the Eight Fingers leaders selected are given the chance to live, and they will live through the massacre that is not even approaching the kingdom, that is very well going through the kingdom as we speak. Okay, I think now that's it. So, without further ado, subs, because you're gonna need them to sync your own copy. Sound, because I'm gonna need it to hear things, of course. And support. I need to remind you to support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or Throne, links in the description, or non-monetarily by sharing my content, spreading the word. It really does help the channel when you tell your friends about my content, and maybe they watch it, and that's cool. With that out of the way, I think I'm gonna have to raise my camera up a little bit. Ah, damn it. Yeah, that should do the trick. Can't wait for my first paycheck to buy a proper camera. Okay, now we can start watching episode 12, the penultimate one of Overlord season 4 in 3, 2, 1, go. A disgrace. Yeah, of course. Yeah, opportunism. Yeah, you appear weaker, despite not necessarily being weaker. Right, one important thing, Tsa kind of misunderstood the thing with who's the master, who's the servant here. And yeah, the whole deal with the wild magic. It's not necessarily HP, another little bit of a misunderstanding. Yeah, that's a lot for a single world item to support. True, knowledge is power. That's also true. They aren't around anymore, so that means they probably didn't resurrect. Yeah, stands to reason. Yeah, right. He needs to show himself off. That look at the face of the villain that destroyed your country. Yeah? I mean, the whole campaign against the kingdom in the first place is a performance. It's not. How should I say it? It's not a war that had to happen, right? It's not like Nazareth is fighting for resources or fighting for a claim to the throne or fighting a retaliatory war or anything like that. Uh, the attack on the caravan was just a pretense, and the whole campaign is a performance. And what is a performance with the main actor being absent, right? Ainz needs to show his face. He needs to be the one to deal the final blow. Because it's all about sending the message, right? For all the uh, countries around to see that, hey, Ainz is gonna come for you, Ainz is gonna get you, so you better go with him rather than against him. I wonder how strong is Tsa manipulating this armor compared to Tsa the dragon. Probably a fraction of the strength. I'm guessing 10% or thereabout ish. It's made with humans. I mean, if there was anybody to take meat for a goulash to feed children from the local morgue, that would be Renner. Not even like painting her as a monster or anything. She kinda is, but from the pure standpoint of like, it's good meat that's going to waste. Pure, unadulterated, immoral pragmatism. The theme of immoral pragmatism is very vivid in this season of what I'm watching. It's the same deal with Madoka Magica. Kyubey subscribes to immoral pragmatism. What's your guys' deal here? What are you playing at? What are you all playing at? Oh no, it's spilled. Ah. What's their deal? Whatever it is, they left Lacus out? Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. I understand now. Okay, they just want the princess and Lacus to have some time spent together. Everyone's already evacuated. Yeah? As the king ordered them to. Right, there aren't any maids around anymore. Everybody run. Strong tea is best tea. Yes. Poison? No. Poison bolt? Fuck's going on? Is this not Lacus? Changeling? Or did they really turn against Lacus? I'm very confused right now. What the fuck did just happen? Yeah, please explain. What the fuck did I just witness? Okay, I guess that's an explanation. Southeast. I have a vague recollection of the map, but I don't remember what's in the southeast. Maybe an explanation would be in order. Then I'm gonna stay as well. Of course. Brain being brain. Doing the big brain move of staying. Okay, so he wants to go out the exact same way Beef Stroganoff went out. Now you inherit my will. Okay, so is Brain gonna die here? Or is Brain gonna be seen as someone uh, someone valuable due to his martial arts? Brain dying would be too much of a calque of what happened to Stroganoff, I feel. Like killing all of them in a sequence in mostly the same way doesn't sit well with me, and doesn't sit with me as something that the creators of this of Overlord would do. The creator, the original. Uh, who's the light novel author? Maruyama? I think it's Maruyama, or is Maruyama responsible for the manga? Not sure. Yeah, she can wield it well. Why might it be that you might never get a chance to wield a sword again? Oh, hello, Cocytus. 'Yeah, that's a ruffle stomp. Hello, Aura. Ten out of 10 landing. She's planning how to level the city? Right, there are monsters at the walls. Okay, to grab all of the scrolls and whatnot. I love how absolutely casual she is about it. That's something Iri can do. Look how happy she is. What a good girl. I love the complete casualness of it. Sorcerer King is gonna find you. You don't need to concern yourself with that. Unlikely. Unlikely. Unless he actually gave himself in, and he could probably negotiate with Ainz. I'm gonna join you if you leave the country alone. Probably would have gone well. Brain, I'm not sure if he has enough purchasing power to be traded for a whole kingdom. Going full Witcher, buffing himself up, potions. Yeah, I mean, it would be easy even if the capital was protected. Cocytus. Hmm. Okay, going for a sword. Katana versus a katana. The perimeter skill. Yeah. Unlikely. Besides, he has two more. Yeah. Rain's signature skill. Noryokujo Kojo. Noryokujo Kojo. True nail clipper. How effective was it? Not very. You can still turn him into an undead. And he had the resolve to die here, I'm assuming. Okay, so the body is gonna stick around, which means he can eventually be resurrected, like Zaryusu, Shasuryu. Felt a little too close to what happened with Stroganov, though. If I'm to be perfectly honest, is Brain gonna break out of the ice block? Probably not. And that's gonna be it. Huh. Very short episode, honestly. Yeah, very short. Fairly little happened. what happened in this episode, all in all. A Blue Rose escaping and Brain dying. And that's essentially it. Huh. Yeah, we're gonna watch this episode again for sure to make sure that I got all of it, but the quality was there, like, don't get me wrong, but the quantity, not quite. I'm yearning for a little bit more, right? The feeling where you get a snack and it was the last one, but you kind of want more, and right, that yearning for just a little bit more, just 5 more minutes, right? 5 more minutes, mom. Hmm. Okay. Uh. Yeah. So how about exactly as I said? We're gonna go through it again, shall we? Right. Reporting what happened. And yeah, Ainz is very, maybe not entirely casual about playing the weaker one, but if it's to the benefit of a plan, why not? Right? He's correct here. Absolutely, you lose nothing by playing the weaker one. You lose nothing by dropping to your knees. You lose pride, I guess, but pride is something intangible, and especially in case of Ainz, who is superior. It's just a fact. Losing pride is not an issue. Even if he were to go full Dogeza, he's still the superior being. So, right? It makes sense that it would be a completely non-issue to Ainz. And yeah, it helps mislead your enemy, because now the enemy thinks that you're weaker, that you are maybe prone to panic, that the attack they were about to use, you felt that this attack will be the end of you, so you went to beg for mercy. Uh, and they will maybe use that attack again in the future, and you will know about that because you told them your weak points that aren't really your weak points. Makes perfect sense. You've set quite a poisonous trap indeed. Accidentally, but still. I don't fully I don't fully understand his powers. One of his powers, yeah, the barrier. It was probably created using a world item. That's why another world item was able to break through it. Depiction of nature and society. Is that the world item that allows you to manipulate the battlefield at will? I think that's the one that allows you to essentially create a pocket dimension exactly up to your spec, and have the battle there. I think that's it. Not entirely sure, but I think. And yeah, HP drop. Sure, there might be some world items that actually utilize HP instead of mana as power source. Do world items utilize mana in the first place? I don't think so. They don't use up any resource. It's more that world items themselves sometimes are a resource, like the Wish Upon the Star ring, right? That can be used only so many times, or the Universal Key that can be used only, what was it, like 7 or 9 times, something around that. But yeah, it stands to reason that a world item that saps its user's HP might be a thing. It's a very common mechanic in MMOs and in games in general. And yeah, we cannot say for certain that those skills are the work of a world item. And of course, we need more information. And yeah, that's an issue. NPCs can be resurrected, be it NPCs of this world, like Zarius and Shasuri, for example, or NPCs from Yggdrasil, like Shaltir, but we don't know if players can be. And working with the assumption that the greed, the gods, and the heroes were players, and they aren't around, they might have died. The stories say that they were killed, and they didn't resurrect themselves or each other, so perhaps it's impossible to do. Or perhaps the rumors of their death have been simply exaggerated and they just went back to their original world. Could be the case. We also don't know at this point how exactly were they defeated. Was it a large scale attack where all of them were attacked at once? Which would mean that if all of them are fallen, they don't have the time to resurrect each other. If all of them are tied into battle, then they can't just randomly walk away to resurrect one of their allies. If they were being picked off one by one, there would be the time to resurrect each other. And if so, then that would lead us to believe that there is no mechanic that can resurrect players. And yeah, a loss that doesn't lead to my death should be an acceptable loss. Precisely. Do you really need to go do you really need to go personally to deal with such trivial matters? Yes. Standards about acting as a villain. The hero in their last moments must see the face of the villain. The villain must show themselves at the site of the massacre to cackle maniacally. There are certain things that a villain is supposed to do. Like, sure, a villain can work entirely from the shadows, but they won't have such a presence as they would if they were personally involved in all of the things, in all of the events that they caused. So Ainz is going to involve himself so that he's recognizable and his fame or infamy spreads across the world. Across the continent, at least. Because all we know is the continent, we don't know of any other continents. If they exist, even. Or is it just a Pangea situation? OP, OP, OP. Yeah, I think that's all of the fights that were foreshadowed in the OP that have already transpired. Right, Brain is helping them. All I can do is bring some food to the children. She's a great actress, isn't she? Then all the people in the royal capital will, and I will gain the favor of the Nazarick, and I will gain the spell that will create a chain and a radiator, and I will have climb forever together with me. Yeah, I was initially very confused about what the fuck is going on with all of them. Uh, when Evil Eye mentioned Gagaran, I thought I don't know, like they're trying to set up Gagaran and Brain, because it's like the first time that the Blue Rose and Brain can interact in like a social way, not just going to war together. So I thought for a moment that maybe Lacus has the hots for brain, or maybe Gagaran, or what the fuck is going on here. But no, they just wanted Lacus and Renner to have some quality time together. Essentially, their entire deal, or so it would seem initially. Also, Brain just absolutely struggling at pouring tea. The poor man has never heard of tea. He's been drinking water from puddles and eating leaves from trees near a village. It's his first time with a pot. Wouldn't surprise me. Gagaran acting all standoffish, and now that also explains things. Gagarin is very straightforward. She's not one for subterfuge and working from the shadows and whatnot. She doesn't like what they have to do. She doesn't like the fact that they have to resort to sneakily attacking Lacus. She doesn't like that. She doesn't want to do it this way, but she knows that it's the only way, and she's a little bit pouty, essentially. Everything makes sense now. Uh, yeah, they're trying to make more time for us. Indeed. And yeah, everybody run. Like literally. Everybody heeded the words of the king and just bailed. Uh, I was kind of expecting someone to stay at least. Like, it's kind of a trope by now. Maybe not entirely, but it's a thing that's fairly common that you have that, like, one or two very loyal servants that will stay here until the bitter end. You have a maid that's gonna arm herself with a copper pan and a pot on her head, and she's gonna attack motherfucking Ainz himself if need be. Right? It's kind of sort of a trope. Um, no such thing here. Everybody bailed. Literally everybody. The whole castle is entirely empty. Shows the loyalty, or lack thereof, doesn't it? Shows just how rotted the kingdom really is. Every noble for themselves, everybody for themselves. There's no loyalty to the crown. Maybe selected few like Brain, like Stroganov earlier, right? They are royal to the crown. Zanak, rest in peace. Uh, but the rest, no, none. First tea I ever made. Fiendish, no nefarious boss. Why the change? That was my first hint that something might be amiss. That she's like trying to do weird things, right? Like serving her tea, very strong tea, and maybe Lacus likes tea like that. And this person here doesn't like tea like that, so they must be a changeling, or they must be someone dressed up as Lacus, or Lacus's long lost sister or something, calling her nefarious boss, and Lacus pays it no mind. She doesn't say, "Oh, you always call me fiendish boss. What happened that you call me nefarious?" No, she takes it at face value. I thought something in that direction is what we're going for. That she might not actually be Lacus. It's very bitter, and it hurts my kidneys. Oof, ouch, my kidney. I can feel the stones forming. Yeah, I was incredibly confused throughout the entire scene, throughout the entire sequence. Is it Lacus who's who's the villain here? Is it the rest of the Blue Rose who's the villain here? What the fuck is going on? What am I witnessing? But all of that aside, some genuinely great action sequences here. Like, this episode so far probably has the most, like, quality to it. In art, in animation, you see the lighting, the blur, the bloom, all of that jazz. Yes, stabby stabby, resist weakening. That makes sense. Resist weakening to to poison, right? So that the poison can act easier, and possibly also weakening to charm person, resistance to charm person. She fended it off. Okay, one more poisonous dart, one more hit. At the same time, now now in hindsight, I see that none of those attacks were like deadly, right? She didn't stab Lacus in the throat with the poison dart, although she could have. Gagaran here, she smacked Lacus in the clavicle, not in the head, although she could have. They wanted to avoid killing her, just weakening her, just weaken. They just wanted to weaken her enough for charm person to work, and it worked in the end. Yeah, hurry up and heal your wounds. Mind control is a scary thing. Oh, haha, ha, yes, yes, mind control is, oh, that's super scary. I would never want anything to do with mind control. No, siree, no. Me and mind control. You must be joking there. What would I do with mind control? Like mind control climb. You joker, you. I love this reaction. I just believe that you wouldn't do something like this without a reason. Yeah, probably. And yeah, makes sense. We care about our friend more than we care about this kingdom. I like it. Like, genuinely. I love Blue Rose, and I hope they live, and I hope they thrive. Uh, Probably my favorite group in the show so far, the Blue Rose. Like, not counting Nazarick, of course, but Blue Rose, double thumbs up, absolutely. We care about our friend more than we care about this kingdom, and they knew that even though they said among each other that, oh yeah, we're gonna leave, the uncle is gonna take care of it, oh yes, we are leaving, first train tomorrow. But it would probably have ended with everybody boarding a ship or something, and then last minute Lacus jumping off and running back to protect Renner, not knowing that Renner doesn't need protection. That's, I'm assuming, what would have happened. So, yeah, like, genuinely the only way to save her. All of us were secretly against it. Secretly? I didn't they all decide pretty much unanimously that they're gonna run when they met with Lacus' uncle? I might be misremembering things, but I don't remember it as everybody agreeing to stay and fight. But maybe they did. Still, the rest of the Blue Rose just doesn't feel like dying, and they are correct. And they are doing the right thing by running. All of us were secretly against it, but yeah, Lucky would stay behind on her own. Probably what would have happened if everybody told her that right from the get go, yeah, we're bailing, Lucky would have stayed. And they wouldn't have an opportunity like this to drag her with them. Yeah, catch her off guard, unequipped her magic items. Yeah. 5 different poisons, weakening magic, charm person just had a percentage chance to work too. Lacus is strong, isn't she? For the standards of this new world, of course, not for the standards of Nazarick, but she is strong. Evil Eye is a powerful caster, and her spells were bouncing off Lacus like it's no big deal. There's a country that fell into ruin a long time ago, a place far, far away that you've never heard of. Southeast. Let me pull up the map of the new world. There we go. Overlord map. Southeast of Kingdom. What's southeast? South is in this direction, and that's the west, that's the east. There isn't much. There's Katze Plains. I don't think they're running for Katze Plains. The wait. Irantel is to the southeast from Riestes. Are they planning to run to the Sorcerer Kingdom? I don't think so. But what's beyond that? I guess Slain Theocracy kinda? Dragonic Kingdom? Are they going to the Dragonic Kingdom? I don't think so. Here's another map, a little bit bigger it seems. Let me see. Come on, load, would you? Yeah, to the southeast from Riestes, we only have Dragonic Kingdom, Beastman Country, Minotaur Nation, kinda all of the Beastfolk nations. And then we have the Wasteland. Huh. Slain Theocracy? I don't think so. Maybe the Flying City? That's like southwest. I don't know. I don't know where they're running. But good on them that they are running. For sure. But I gotta say, Renner asking about it fills me with anxiety. That she's gonna tell about it to Albedo and they're gonna hunt down the Blue Rose. I hope not. I hope not. The Blue Rose seems like very curious. I think curious enough for Ainz to not want them dead. Each of them seems to be their own. Seems to have about the value of Stroganoff. Evil Eye as the caster, super powerful caster of the vampire race. Lacus with her incredible resistance and her weird skills and spells and floating swords. Gagaran with her martial arts. The twins with their ninjutsu. I'm assuming at least some of those are things that didn't exist in Yggdrasil. So they are a specimen to take care of. take care of, not as in kill them, but take care of as in take take them under your like wing, under your protection. Take them in to be members of your adventurers guild, right? They are incredibly valuable as adventurers. That alone is enough, in my opinion, at least. And yeah, of course, Brain doesn't plan on running. He should have, because he didn't even slow Cocytus down particularly much. At least, hmm. At least Stroganov's sacrifice ended the battle, right? He traded his own life for the lives of his fellow countrymen. Brain was just a blimp on the radar, not much more. Just a bug to squash en route to the capital. I don't plan on respecting his wishes. Maybe I'm too hopeful. Maybe I'm just high on the copium right now. But this reads one of the wishes that Stroganov had was, "Do not resurrect me." And I have a feeling that if Brain was informed, perhaps after maybe Brain is taken into the Nazarick, thawed out, and joins them, maybe on the off chance, and is told that, yeah, sure, Stroganov cannot be resurrected by your magic, but we have stronger resurrection magic and we could. Maybe, just maybe, again, I'm probably drinking pure copium here, but it's a possibility, is what I'm trying to say. Not very likely, but a possibility nonetheless. You're a good woman, not that I really know much about women. It shows, because Renner is not a good woman. Although, I mean, he has no way of knowing. Renner really hides herself very well. I came back to life after meeting you and Lord Sebas. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Brain had a fair bit of a glow up after meeting Sebas. I was truly lucky to have met you too. Only you didn't exist. Climb! Don't talk shit about my employer. Ainz-sama would not be happy if he heard you spouting such nonsense. I have to fulfill my duty. It's quite heavy, she says. And then she takes a perfect stance, swings it, and I think she chips the floor a little. Yeah, she bumps it into the floor. To the full shockwave. Is it the sword that bestows swordsmanship skills upon its wielder? Like, gives you +5 to melee weapons, essentially? Or is it Renner that's maybe getting stronger thanks to some Nazarick blessings or whatever? Or maybe she's been training in secret, or I don't know. This scene of Renner swinging the sword seems significant to me, but I don't quite know what the significance of that is. Also, I don't think I'll have the chance to wield the sword ever again. Why? Why would it be? We know that the item that Renner was gifted by Albedo is like a race change cube thingamajig. But even if Renner became a demon or whatever, she would still be able to wield a sword. Why would she not? Unless she's turned into some monstrosity, not an imp-shaped demon or like succubus-shaped demon, but rather into something like the Beholder or I don't know, or Victim or something like that. Demons come in all shapes and sizes after all. I need to make preparations before meeting Father. That's also very ominous. Almost makes me think that those preparations include a stiletto and perhaps poisonous tea. I mean, a kettle of poisonous tea has already been brewed, so might as well give some to your father, right? Circuitus's entrance, epic as always. Just everybody frozen, no chance. And yeah, out I'm completely casual about everything. Yeah, those soldiers, they aren't my deal. My task isn't to deal with them. They can't do shit to me either, so I'm just gonna leave them be. Why would I worry about some fucking ants running around when I'm going shopping? They're completely inconsequential. There are monsters abound, but yeah, the monsters don't need to kill them because why? Why bother? She would have to then wash them and groom them and get rid of the like coagulated blood in their fur. And why go through all that thing? Let's just chill. Let's just do our mission. Everybody died anyway because the T-Rex uh, Eerie just roared. Just a roar was enough to kill everybody. I'm assuming the roar is essentially an instant heart attack spell. That's what it seems to be. I love that all the other animals are angry at Airi because, oh, Aura, our master said that we don't have to kill them and you kill them, going against Miss Aura's wishes. But no, it's fine. She's not mad. Those are ultimately inconsequential. Airi's too big and Airi's sad. But Airi gets a special mission. Airi happy. She gets to squish all the people she wants with her feet. And she's gonna do it very happily. Also, I like this little detail that they didn't go for that very like simple and I don't want to say cheap, but a very simple way of Airi just running straight through the wall. No, she's using her shoulder, her side to smash the wall open. That just little bit of added animation shows that little bit more care put into it. Civilians couldn't escape. I'm assuming as Cocytus is walking around, all these civilians are just freezing solid. Whoever didn't manage to escape, they're just freezing. That might also be why Cocytus is just casually strolling around with all the Yuki Onna in Tau to just freeze the whole city. We're not gonna burn it, we're not gonna level it, we're just gonna freeze it all. I'm assuming that's the deal here. And yeah, this episode really does have some great shots, some great scenes, some great visuals. Not many quantitatively, but quality-wise, it's up there, definitely. They stepped up their game immensely after season 3, for sure. The Yuki on aren't CG. There's also props for that, of course. Yeah, 3 different potions, just chugging them all. Must be easy for you to destroy this completely unprotected capital. Protected or not wouldn't make a difference. You didn't make a difference either. Brain Anglaus, and this is important. Cocytus immediately recognized him as a warrior because he gave his name willingly. When it was the situation with Zaris and Chastity, they gave their names to Cocytus and he was just silent because he didn't deem them worthy of hearing his name. Here, they're having a proper duel. Kinda. They're having a respectful duel, and both recognize the respect necessary. Brain just bowing his head. But it's not a duel proper enough for Cocytus to be at his full strength. One blade is enough. He doesn't need four. Yeah, the perimeter skill, I forgot its name. Something of God flashlighting, some name like that. Every melee fighter I noticed likes to cast Noryoku Kojo, Noryoku Jokojo before a fight. Clementine did it, Brain does it, and apparently it's strenuous on his body. That's the first time we see abilities or martial arts or what have you cause physical strain. Usually it's like you use a skill enhancement ability and it just enhances your skill. But his eyes are going bloodshot, he's bleeding from his nose. And then he casts the greater ability boost. And yeah, he's just completely fucked up by just casting those two abilities, by just using them. Is it because he's not only using the abilities, but also putting all of his energy, all of his strain into his ultimate ability, and also the strain of the 3 potions he downed? We don't know all of the mechanics of potions and skills and abilities. Perhaps it was better explained in the source material, probably was. But as it is now, seems odd that this would be the first time we see someone put so much strain on themselves. True nail clipper. Amazing scene, by the way. Some great shots. Initially, I thought that Brain just lost his arm, but no. He got a slice across his chest. And not even a mark. Not even a scratch on Cocytus. Nothing. True nail clipper might have worked against Shaltir. Not against Cocytus, though. He might have become a great asset to Nazarick if he joined us. If he joined us. However, I cannot embarrass the resolve of a warrior. I'm assuming Cocytus says here that Brain had the resolve to die here, so Cocytus sparing his life would be worse fate for Brain than death. I'm assuming that's what he's going for here. But still, preserve his body in ice. Just in case. Just in case that maybe if I tell Ainz-sama about it, about his abilities, maybe Ainz-sama is gonna want him alive or something. And yeah, it's eating at Cocytus. Because he's walking around and he comes out the same spot and he can't help but stop for a moment and still spare a glance at Brain. Just for a brief second. But still, that it's a waste of such a great warrior. And that's it for the penultimate episode, for episode 12. And I can already feel my nose getting clogged up. Ah. Yeah, that was episode 12 of Overlord Season 4. And quantitatively, not much has happened. Like, honestly, the only two major events in this episode were Blue Rose's escape and Brain dying. When it comes to quality, though, and the significance of those events, and the significance of everything around them, this episode is certainly up there. I wouldn't say it's my favorite episode of the season. We still have the finale to boot, but it's definitely far from the worst. Honestly, this season didn't really have any episodes that I would say were bad or that I would say are one of the worst. It had some great episodes, it had some decent episodes, no bad episodes whatsoever, which is great. After season 2, after season 3, seeing this sort of jump in quality is very heartening. What else? What else? Right, Brain's death. It seems a little too simple for me. Now, don't get me wrong. Overlord isn't a show that would stray away from simple solutions and simple deaths. Zanak died in a very simple way. Gazev died. Okay, his death itself was very simple, but the surrounding wasn't. Right, the whole battle. If I die, then call of the guard, call of the your troops. Right, I want to have my sword appraised. There was a whole ceremony around it. Zanak died in a very simple, rude, very rudimentary way without any sort of ceremony around it. Brain also kinda. Brain's death was kind of a midway between Gazev's and Xanax. It was largely inconsequential and very quickly done, the way Xanax's death was, and but it still had that pathos to it, I guess. That that Gazeb's death had. The being recognized by Cocytus, being granted this like dual the chance to use his ultimate ability to its full potential with no care for his life, this one last chance, right? But at the same time, it strikes me as too simple, too simple and too similar. Overlord is not a series that would repeat itself often, if at all. Um, Everything that happens, everything new that happens, new events are new. There aren't repeats of anything. The way Ainz conquered the Quokka tribes was completely different than his conquest of the Lizardmen. The way he went about the dwarves was also completely different. The way he went about the Baharud Empire. All of those were very different, completely and utterly. Brain's death so far seems very similar to Xanax, seems very similar to Gazev's, and that strikes me as odd. Maybe it's just me inhaling copium, but I feel like he might follow the way of Zarius and Chasserier, and he might actually be resurrected. Would be cool, not gonna lie. And that would also add complexity to his death. That he died the warrior's death, and now he's getting a second chance. Not just any second chance. He can now be trained by Cocytus himself, for example. He can now be gifted weapons and armor he never would have dreamed about. That kind of a deal. That would really add complexity to his death. Yeah, I think that's about it about Brain. Also, one thing that really rubbed me the wrong way, kinda, is how much. Although you can look at it from two perspectives. The fact that Gazev threw away his life for essentially no reason, and the effect of him throwing his life was Ainz calling off his troops, so that actually had an effect. Brain was vehemently opposed to that. He was like, okay, at least let me die alongside you, or let me die instead of you. Why are you throwing your life away? Meanwhile, in this case, Brain was very eager to die. Essentially, like, he had the mindset that, okay, I can cut off his hands and still win, but I think deep inside he was ready for death. He was seeking it out. You can look at it from two perspectives, as I said. First one being that it's weird for someone who couldn't understand why Gazev would throw away his life to also throw away his life. But the other angle can be that Brain matured enough to understand the sacrifice, to understand the last stand of a warrior, which I personally cannot agree with, but I understand why it might have been the case for Brain. Absolutely. Uh, yeah. So yeah, that does it for Brain. When it comes to Blue Rose, as I said, I'm very happy that they escaped. They are everybody besides Lacus. Lacus is very straightforward. Ultimately, she's a Chuny. She likes to fight, and she has a duty to her friends, and that's basically describes Lacus in her entirety. It's the rest of the team who's the brains, even Gagaran comparatively, but mostly Evil Eye. And Evil Eye knows that you don't fight Ainz. Like, you can try to stand up to him, but that's not gonna end well. And your death, because you will die, will be completely inconsequential. It will be like squashing a bug. You staying here helps nobody. Absolutely nobody. You have no reason to do that. So they decided to bail. And of course, Lacus would have stayed because, boohoo, I have to protect my friend Renner, despite Renner not needing protection, but nobody knows about that, of course. Uh, yeah, I like that they are getting to live. Because I was afraid, I was genuinely afraid for a moment that they're gonna just kill everybody off. They're gonna kill. They're gonna kill Brain, they're gonna kill Climb, they're gonna kill the Blue Rose, and what next? Do we build the roster of characters from scratch? That doesn't work all that well. We need some old characters, right? Some of them died. Zanak died, Brain died, but that part of the cast can be slowly replaced. But we need something to connect us throughout the story, and I hope Blue Rose is gonna be that element. That maybe if eventually Blue Rose is wiped off the face of the earth, because I cannot discount that possibility. But when that happens, there will be perhaps some other group of adventurers that we've been with for like 2 seasons of the show or however many volumes of the light novel that we get accustomed to, and now they are the constant, the new constant. I like that Blue Rose gets to live, is what I'm trying to say, essentially. And in the next episode, I'm assuming it's the Storm of the castle itself. Well, hard to call it a storm because the castle is empty. There's nobody there, just the king, Renner, and Climb. That's all. Maybe a stray maid somewhere, but I don't think so. So that's going to be interesting what happens there. Climb probably isn't gonna die. He's under Renner's protection, and Renner is Albedo's collaborator, so he's safe. King, probably dead, just doesn't know it yet. Yeah, I wonder how it's gonna end. Are we gonna have one final battle with Tsa? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. There was also a mention of the Godkin by the Slain Theocracy. Are they gonna appear out of nowhere? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Again, very hard to predict what's gonna happen. This episode didn't really give us many hooks. It gave us like two hooks that Aura is planning something. She has something to do. Well, sure, steal all of the scrolls and stuff from the Magic Guild, Sorcerer Guild. But besides that, something else or not, I don't know. Cocytus's task is apparently to freeze the entire city. But what's the end game? What's the end goal? What's the final confrontation? What's the resolution of this arc? We don't know that yet. Yeah, I'm gonna be waiting with bated breath for the next episode for sure, and I can already feel my voice giving out. So, so I'm gonna end it here. But yeah, maybe you guys, maybe you have something to add, and if so, feel free to do that in the comments down below. Did you like this episode? My reaction, my theories, what do you think of them? No spoilers, please. I want to experience it all myself without any spoilers whatsoever. If there's something that was omitted in this adaptation, if there's something that can be explained better but doesn't stray into the spoiler territory, I'm gonna leave it at your discretion, of course. But spoilers, strictly, please no. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. If you wanna talk spoilers, there's my Discord, it's here and also in the description. It's also a place where I post some updates like what's been going on with me, that I've been sick, how it's been going and stuff like that. So if you're ever curious, my Discord is the place to find this sort of information. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Overlord Season 4, but also Hataraku Maosama Season 2, Madoka Magica, Symphogear GX. We're gonna be watching OVAs, and next week we're gonna have a live stream of the concert, and also Yofukashi no Uta. And I also play some games, sometimes streams, so you might want to click the bell icon to be notified about that. You can support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or Throne, links in the description. For $10 a month on Patreon, you get early access to Madoka Magica, Symphogear, and other non-seasonals that will be coming in the future. For just $1, you get a role on the Discord, and you also get a place in the credits, so that's also my token of gratitude to you. On Throne, you can pitch in directly towards my purchase of better lighting, proper camera, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, sharing my content, spreading the word really does help put the channel out there, really helps bring in some audience and grow the channel out. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the credits I mentioned. You can be one of those people if only such is your desire.